am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today in this lecture series of solid waste management course, we will discuss about paper and cardboard recycling. So we are at the stage of when we are discussing about the dry waste, recycling of dry waste. So in recycling of dry waste, as we have already discussed about the plastic recycling, metal recycling, aluminum recycling. So now we will discuss about the paper and cardboard recycling. So this is the whole picture, that is the functional element of municipal solid waste management. In this whole functional element of MSWM, we are at the point of processing and transformation of waste. So in this section, we are going to read about the paper recycling and cardboard recycling and cardboard recycling. So in this lecture I will start with the basic functions of recycling, and this is the flow chart that is related with the functional element of MSWM. So first of all, we have discussed about the whole scenario of municipal solid waste management. It will starts with the waste generation, and after generation the waste collection, and waste collection at the door-to-door collection, that is comes under the primary collection. So after primary collection, next step will come, that is waste handling and its storage. Handling of waste by the municipal person or the person who is taking the waste, who is collecting the waste from door-to-door method, and it's primary storage either in a whole container system. Then secondary collection is there, and after secondary collection two things comes. First is transfer and transport, and next is the processing and transformation. So processing is like processing of waste at a processing unit where we'll do the processing, and next step is a transformation, means which type of waste it is, either it is a dry waste or wet waste. If it is a wet waste, it will go for the composting site, or if it is a dry waste, it will go for the material recovery facility or site where it can be recycled, or it can be reused, or it can be dumped, or it can be landfill. And then the final step is that is the disposal. So after which is suitable method for that particular solid waste, next step will come, that is disposal. So this is the whole functional element, whole scenario that is related with the municipal solid waste management. Next is the recycling, the process of recycling. Process of recycling means what? So first of all environment related rules has been made in the EP Act, Environment Protection Act, in the EP Act 1986. In this act, what happened, EP Act 1986, EP Act is called as Umbrella Act also, because it will consider every element of the environment, either air pollution act, it will or water pollution, or soil pollution, or biomedical pollution, whatever waste or whatever environment pollution is there, all act are coming under this Environment Protection Act. So that's why it is called as Umbrella Act. So first of all, the definition and the rule of this solid waste management. So solid waste management can be defined as a recycling. As per this solid waste management rule 2016, this recycling can be defined as the process of transforming segregated solid waste into a new product or a raw material for producing new product. Process of conversion or transformation of segregated solid waste into a new product or a raw material for producing new product, it is called as recycling. Recycling will involve the conversion or transformation of the solid waste into either a new product or to make a raw material to convert a new product. It is a process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away as trash and turning them into a new product. It is a process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away. Maybe it will be thrown away as a trash, or maybe it will be thrown away as a garbage, and collecting that material and processing this material and convert it into a new product is called as recycling. Recycling means that one only. So now comes to the advantages of recycling, benefits of recycling. Recycling is benefited to the either the urban local bodies, or it will be benefited to the economy of the country also. Sometimes it will be benefited, sometimes or every time it benefits the environment also. As for urban local bodies, it will reduce the volume, total volume of the waste, reduces the volume of waste. This recycling is doing. Next is the cost saving. It is a cost saving during the process of collection, cost saving in collection and transportation, collection and transportation, transportation and disposal. So for urban local bodies, it is going to reduce the waste volume. Cost saving, it will be a cost saving in the collection, transportation and disposal. Sometimes longer lifespan for landfill also, reduces environmental management efforts also. So these are the points, that is by the benefits that is associated with the urban local bodies. For economy, it's a benefit for the economy, like it is going to reduce of import of raw material like fertilizers, livelihood opportunities of recycler. Next is a sustainable use of resources, reduced volume waste volume, and hence reduced land requirement for disposal. So three categories is there for the benefits of this recycling. First is the urban local bodies. It will benefit urban local bodies in terms of reducing the waste volume, or it is a cost saving in either in collection, transportation and disposal. Sometimes longer lifespan for landfills also, and reduced environmental management and its efforts. And next is like it will be advantage for the country economy, like it is going to reduces the imports of raw material like fertilizer, and sometimes livelihood opportunities for the recyclers. Environment, it is benefiting the environment also, like sustainable uses of resources, reduced waste volume, and hence reduces land requirement for disposal. Reduces waste volume and hence reduces land requirement for disposal of that, so but that much of solid waste. Okay. So now comes to the next thing, that is paper recycling. So in this lecture, this was the background of the recycling, how this recycling comes and what is the advantages of recycling. So this lecture will start about the recycling of paper. Paper recycling is we can say that it is a process by which any waste paper can be turned into a new paper product. This is called as paper recycling. Waste paper can be turned into a new paper product. This is called as paper recycling product. There are three categories of paper that can be used as a feedstock for making recycled paper. First is a meal broke, then pre-consumer waste, and then post-consumer waste. Meal broke means they are categorized as a feedstock for making recycled paper. Meal broke is called as this can be included the paper trimming and other paper scraps from the manufacturer of papers and is recycled in the paper mill. It includes paper trimming and other paper scraps. Some little paper trimming is there or some paper scrap is there. So all these are included in this meal broke, and it can be from the manufacturer of paper and it is recycled in a paper mill. So mostly that is called as meal broke. This type of paper can be recycled in a paper mill. And pre-consumer waste, it is a material which left the paper mill but was discarded before it was ready for consumer use. It is a material which left the paper mill, means those material which is already left the paper mill, but it can be discarded before it was ready for the consumer use. Maybe it can be discarded. So this is called as pre-consumer waste. It is a material which left the paper mill. It is already left the mill, but these are the discarded materials from the paper mill, and it is going to be discarded before it was ready for consumer uses. Post consumer waste is called as those waste is the material discarded after consumer use, such as old corrugated containers, old magazines and newspapers. Old corrugated containers, old magazines and newspaper. So this is called as post consumer waste, mill broke, pre consumer waste, post consumer waste. These papers and which can be used as a feedstock for making recycled paper can be divided into three categories. First is the meal broke, pre-consumer waste and post-consumer waste. You can see the picture. This is the meal broke, means those discarded item that is already discarded from the meal broke, and that cannot be, that will be a discard only. Discarded metal paper, discarded paper from the mill. This is called as meal broke. And post consumer waste is a newspaper only, newspaper, and corrugated material like cardboard, corrugated material. This is post consumer waste, and this is meal broke. And so we'll go on the definition of this meal broke. It is like meal broke, it includes paper trimming and other paper scraps is there that will be coming from the manufacturer of paper, and it can be recycled in a paper mill. So this is meal broke is there. Now comes to the different paper recycling, different steps, all steps involved in in the recycling of paper. Steps in the recycling of paper. Steps in the recycling of paper. So first is the collection of paper. Collection of papers means paper collection. Paper collection. Recycling of paper. Next will come as the recycling of paper. Recycling of paper waste. And then it's a rolling and then selling of the paper waste, selling to the new as a new paper, selling it as a new paper, rolling of the waste. So these are the four steps that is involved in the paper recycling. First of all, it is a collection of paper waste, then it's a recycling, and then it's a rolling, and then selling it into the market. So these are the four steps. We'll discuss all these steps in details. So grades of paper. First of all, this is a very much important thing which is called as grades of paper. Means what are the different grades of paper. So first is the all corrugated containers. It is the most often found in boxes and product packaging, like the product packaging of a washing machine, of a refrigerator, of an AC. So this is called as old corrugated containers, that is already we have discarded. It is called as it is in the boxes where the all instruments are there. And mixed paper is a broad category of paper that includes things like mail, catalog, phone books, and magazine. These are the mixed paper, categories of paper. This can include like some catalog is there, some phone books, some magazines, some old paper is there. So it is called as mixed paper. Next category is the old newspaper. This one is the pretty self-explanatory. Mills uses newspaper, a low-grade paper, to make more newsprint, tissue, and other products. High-grade de-inked paper. This quality paper consists of things like envelope, some copy paper, letterhead that has gone through the printing process and had the ink removed. So these are called as high-grade de-inked paper. De-inked means ink has been removed from this paper, and it mostly consists of the things like envelope, copy paper, letterhead that is going through a printing process, and the ink has been removed. Next is the pulp substitutes. So this paper is usually discarded as scraps from mills, and you probably won't have to worry about running into it, because though it may be find its way into produce a new paper. So this is called as paper substitute. These are some of the grades of paper that are basically used in the paper mills. Paper mills. First is old corrugated containers, then mixed paper, then old newspaper, high grade de-inked paper, pulp substitutes. Now comes to the next point. We are going to discuss about the different stages of recycling of paper. So first stage is the collection. As I have already told you the different stages. Collection is there where the paper is taken to a local collection system. Paper is taken to a local collection system. Local collection system. This is called as collection part only. Paper can be taken to a local collection system, then segregation part will come. So in this segregation, everything is separated and bundled based on the composition. Everything is segregated and separated. Everything is segregated and separated and bundled based on the composition. So you can see that cardboard is segregated and make a bundle of the cardboard. Newsprints are there. Newsprints has been segregated and bundled it. So this is the picture which is going to reflect the different segregated papers. First is the newsprint is there, cardboard is there, and some etc, some other material are there at one place. After bundling, they may send to a recycling plant, and at recycling plant, what is there they are doing? They are doing the shredding. Paper shredding is there. Paper is tossed into a pulper, which is basically a giant blender which with chemicals that dissolve paper fiber bonds while shredding it into tiny fiber. So shredding is there. With the shredder, the paper can be shredded. It can be passed into a very tiny fiber. The paper is tossed into a pulper, which is basically a giant blender with chemicals that dissolve paper fiber bonds while shredding it into tiny fibers. So this paper is called as shredding of paper. Shredding of paper is like a breaking of paper. In a normal term, if we will understand this shredding part, it is called as a breaking of paper into a smaller particle. Shredder, with the shredder. So we'll do this recalling, like first of all, what are the different steps? First step is the collection of paper that is taken by the local collection system. Then segregated the paper into different bundles, like newspapers at one place, cardboard at one place, some different discarded materials at one place. So after this, bundling should be there. So bundles get sent to a recycling plant. This bundle will be sent to the recycling plant, where some shredders are there. With the shredding, the paper is tossed into a pulper, which is basically a giant blender with chemicals. A blender is there, some chemicals are there, and that is going to dissolve paper fiber bond with shredding it into the tiny fiber. So this is the whole picture and all stages that is related with the paper recycling. Now comes to the next stage, that is de-inking. First, after this shredding, what happened? The pulp is de-inked by sticking it in a chemical solution and blowing bubbles through it. The bubbles carry the ink off with them. And next is the bleaching. Then the pulp is bleached. After bleaching, drying step is there. It is then separated onto white screen and let the water drain off. After bleaching, drying stage is there. It is then spread onto white screen and let the water drain off. After drying, next step is pressurizing. Long sheets of semi-dried pulp are then put through heated pressure, which apply enough pressure to turn them into a smooth sheet of paper. Next is the smooth sheet of paper will be formed. After de-inking, bleaching is there. After bleaching, drying is there. So after drying, pressurizing is there. In pressurizing, long sheet of semi-dried pulp are then put through heated pressure. With this long sheet of paper, dried pulp, that can be put through heated pressure, which apply enough pressure, which is going to apply enough pressure to turn them into smooth sheet of paper. Then again, smooth sheet of paper will be formed, and rolling is there. Paper is rolled up into a huge roll, weighing as much as 3 tons each, and sent onward for cutting, packaging, and shipping. So next, rolling is the final stage. Rolling is final stage. The paper is rolled up into huge rolls that is going to weigh, this will be weight as much as 3 tons each, and sent onward for cutting, packaging, and shipping. And now comes to the next, some data is there. That data is like paper recycling status in India versus USA. So in India, 27% recycling rate of paper is there than in US, and even global average of metal recycling. That will be like global average of metal recycling. So you can see 3 stages there: plastic recycling, paper recycling, and metal recycling. So the paper recycling is very much lower than the US and even global average of the metal recycling also. Now this is the, you can see that this is the whole picture. This is recycling status as of 2018. Percentage recycling in US for various material. For steel appliances, steel cans, aluminum cans, total aluminum cans, papers and cardboard, newspaper, corrugated cardboard is there, glass bottles are there, rubber tires, plastic bottles are there. So for all, you can see the percentage, like 69% is the paper and cupboards, and newspaper is 71%, and corrugated cardboards is 92%. So this is the percentage of recycling rate in US as for various materials. So percentage recycling rate, it can be drawn in from 2019, and its a source is already given. So this is the global recycling status as of 2018. Now comes to the next part, that is cardboard recycling. So cardboard recycling is a reprocessing and reuse of thick sheet of stiff multi-layered paper that has been used, discarded, or regarded as a waste is called as cardboard recycling. Cardboard boxes are usually very heavy duty, like sturdy, malleable, and relatively inexpensive, or thick sheet of paper known for their durability and hardness. Cardboard boxes are very thick sheet of papers. It can be known for its durability and hardness. Some examples of cardboard included, like some packaging box, or some example is like some packaging box, egg carton, shoe box, and cereal box. And great number of application can be reused or broken down easily at the recycling status. This is called as this is all about the cardboard recycling. Cardboard recycling is the reprocessing and reuse of thick sheets of stiff multi-layered paper that has been used, discarded, or it can be regarded as waste. And the example of this cardboard are the packaging boxes, egg cartons, shoe boxes, and cereal boxes. And great number of application and can be reused or broken down easily at the recycling station. Now, stages of cardboard recycling. First is the sorting stage. So in a recycling facility, cardboards are sorted as corrugated boards and box board. Means first of all, it will be sorted. It will be sorted into two category. First is the box board, and next is the corrugated boxes. So box board, they are thin, such as those used for cardboard drink containers or cereal boxes. Thin boxes are there that can be used for cardboard drinks containers or cereal boxes. Corrugated boxes are the bigger and stiffer, commonly used for packaging some transport goods. So first of all, sorting should be there at recycling station. Cardboard can be sorted as corrugated cardboard and box board. So box board are the thin, such as those that can be used for cardboard drink containers or cereal boxes. Corrugated boxes are again the bigger and stiffer, commonly used for the packaging of transport good. Shredding and pulping. After its sorting, next step will come, that is called as shredding and pulping. So shredding is done to break down the cardboard paper fibers into minute pieces. Shredding is done to break down the cardboard paper fibers into very minute pieces. Once the material is finally shredded into pieces, it is mixed with water and chemical to break down the paper fiber into a slurry substances. This process is called as pulping. Shredding is done to break down the cardboard paper's fiber into minute pieces. The pulp material is then blended with new pulp. Pulp material is blended with new pulp, generally from wood chips, that ultimately help the resulting substances to solidify and become firmer. Once the material is finally shredded into a pieces, it is mixed with water and some chemicals to break down the paper fibers into a slurry substances. This process is called as pulping. And the pulp material is then blended with new pulp, generally from wood chips, that ultimately helps the resulting substance to solidify and become firmer. Then next step is there, that is filtering contaminal removal. The pulp material is then taken through a comprehensive filtering process to get rid of all the foreign materials present, as well as impurities such as strings, tapes, and glue. The pulp further goes into a chamber where contaminants like plastic and metal staples are removed through a centrifuge-like process. So centrifuge-like process is there, where the pulp will enters into the chamber where the contaminants like some plastic, some metal staples are removed, and by the process which is called as centrifuged process. Plastic floats on the top while the heavy metal staples falls to the bottom, after which they are eliminated. So the filtering contaminant removal step is there. In this step, pulp is further goes into a chamber where contaminants like plastic and metal staples are removed through a centrifuge kind like a process, and plastic float on the top while the heavy metal staples falls to the bottom, after which they can be eliminated. And then de-inking and cleaning process. So the next process is called as de-inking. which involves putting the pulp in a flotation device that is made up of chemicals that take away any form of dye or ink via a series of filtering and screening. So de-inking is there, means the removal of ink, removal of ink, removal of ink from the paper. So de-inking will involve putting the pulp in a flotation devices that is made up of chemical that take away any form of dyes, or ink with a series of filtering and screening. This step is also called as the cleaning process, is also called as, because it clean up the pulp thoroughly to ensure it is ready for the final processing stage. It is also called as cleaning process, as it cleans the pulp thoroughly to ensure it is ready for the final processing stage or not. And then fishing for reuse, finishing of this. Then next step is that this is finishing for its reuse. Finishing is the final stage that will be involved with the it's a final finishing will be given for its reuse of the paper. So the clean paper is blended with new production material, after which it is put to a dry on a flat conveyor belt and heated cylindrically surface. So the paper, the clean pulp which has been now de-inked, the only the pulp is there, it is blended with a new production material. It will be mixed, it will be amended, or it will be blended with some new material, and after which it is put on a dry or flat conveyor belt and heated cylindrical surfaces. As the pulp dries, when the pulp is dry, it is passed through an automated machine that press out excess water. It is passed through an automated machine which will press out excess water. The machine will press out and remove the excess water and facilitate the formation of long rolls of a solid sheet from the fiber called as liner boards and medium. So this is going to remove the excess water and facilitated the formation of long rows of a solid sheet from the fiber called as liner boards and mediums. Liner boards and mediums. And the liner board are glued together. All boards are there that are glued together layer by layer to make a new piece of cardboard. So in this way the liner boards are glued together layer by layer to make a new piece of cardboard. Liner boards are then glued to the medium as a thin outer covering. Then this liner board is again glued to a medium where the thin outer covering is there. So this stage is called as final finishing stage, where the finishing has been given to the cardboard, and the liner boards are there, and these liner boards are glued together, or it will be pasted in a layer by layer to make a new piece of cardboard. Liner boards are then glued to the medium as a thin outer covering. These liner boards are again glued to the medium as a thinner outer covering. And the pulp dries. What happened after the cleaning of pulp and blended with a new production material? It will be put to a dry on or a flat conveyor belts and heated cylindrical surface. As the pulp dries, when the pulp will dry, it passes through a automated machine that is going to press out the excess water is there, if any excess water is there, and this will facilitate the formation of long rolls or some solid sheet from a fiber that is called as liner boards, or some medium is there. The liner boards are then glued together layer by layer to make a new piece of cardboard. These liner boards are glued together layer by layer to make a new piece of cardboard. Liner boards are then glued to the medium as a thin outer covering is there. So this stage is the finishing for its reuse. Means what? Some liner boards are there. That liner boards has been glued together, and that will be make again a new piece of cardboard. So the with the use of glue and with the liner boards has been made. By liner boards, the a new piece of cardboard has been made, and this is called as glued as a medium thin outer covering. Now this will give you the data of the paper and paperboard recycling. So timeline variation of recycling as a percentage of MSW generation in India. In USA, this is the data from USA, United States Environment Protection Agency, of the year 2017. This has been given like the paper and cardboard data from 1960 to 2017, and their recycling rate is 66%. It is more, and they are recycling more, most of the almost 66% of this paper and cardboard recycling. So this will be some of the references of some of the textbook that you can use for further study of this paper recycling and paper board recycling, because this recycling is a very important part. So at this point I am concluding my lecture. Thank you for the today's lecture. I am concluding my lecture, as I have discussed in this lecture about the paper recycling and cardboard recycling, and we have discussed the data. We have compared the data of India with the US, how much, in what percentage we are lacking in this cardboard recycling and paper recycling. And if we will, if this recycling of this paper and cardboard is done efficiently, then obviously many spaces in the landfill has been saved, because it will be not be going to be landfill. Okay. So if you have any query, if you have any question regarding this lecture, you can write in the comment box, or you can directly mail me in the given mail id shikha.pandy@gmail.com. So thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.